Good afternoon. We are very happy to be here with you today. Good afternoon, everyone. Fernando, good morning. Can you hear? Can you get a signal coming? Good evening, Yanis. We're very happy to see you here. How do you do this evening? We're very happy to be here with you and to open a new week today. There is a beautiful weather here. The sun is shining and we could take a walk today. There's a new perspective coming from the season of, let's say, the holidays, go in a way again to life and to this natural rhythm of life. Good morning, Cindy. We're very happy to see you here. How do you do, Cindy? How is your week? How was the weekend? How it is to be here? Do you have something that you would like to share or to ask? Please feel free. At the moment, there is a renovation in the building, so you might be hearing sounds of renovating. They're drilling and do other things. I'm not sure it's entering the field of hearing, but this is what is happening at the moment. Good morning, Jill. We're very happy to see you here. If you would like to share something, open the week with a story, with experience, with something that you have read or seen and you think that it might interest someone, or just sharing, load something from your heart, you're most welcome. Oh, you cannot listen. You don't hear, Fernando? Okay. Oh, you can't? Okay. Okay, I'll try to. Can you hear now, Fernando, friends? Can you hear? Jill, can you hear at the moment? Yes, thank you. Because I was speaking and speaking, nothing came. Yes, yes. Okay. I was asking if a signal is coming, but there was no answer, so I was not sure what is happening. Very happy to see you here, and you're most welcome to unmute and share your experience or thought that you have, something that you have read or seen or have acquaintance with friends. You're most welcome to share with us and to open a new week. Yes, I see Fernando's hand. Very good. Very happy. Yes, Fernando. I just clicked. Yes.
Shalom, Eti, and
Hello.
shalom, Jill, Cindy, Yanis.
Shalom,
Can you
shalom.
hear me, Eti?
Yes, we can. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear because before I was speaking and there was no resonance. I was wondering what is happening, and I'm asking, "Do you hear?" Nobody answers. No, it's good that you
No.
wrote that. I tried to log in again. There was like a cable missing before, so thank you.
Nice. And how do you do it?
Happy to be here with you, and happy that the wind, the wind and the week is open, and there's like nice weather at the moment. And we could take a walk and see the nature, and we're happy to be alive, and at the moment there's peace in the area. I mean, there's no alert, so we're very happy to be here and alive, and it's life is simple, and it's like that.
Good to listen, Eti. I feel the same here. And just to share one thing, Eti, maybe
Yes, yes,
um I would like to listen from you from a different subject that I've been reading.
yes,
Reading not so much, but just started to read, and I found some interesting points. Uh, you know that I am studying that program in the Jungian Institute, and here and there we have friends that are studying the psychedelics, because it seems that we are living now the some people are saying that the psychedelic renaissance, let's say.
yes,
We have seen a lot of movies and people bringing that idea. And I was reading a book that a friend shared that is called DMT and the Soul of Prophecy. It is quite. I could not read all the book yet. I'm just starting, but I could grab some ideas, and it is interesting that the author, that is a researcher from United States, and it is a quite, let's say, a quite prestigious name in this kind of research. He connects the psychedelics experience with the Hebrew Bible, and it is interesting because how can I say, he speaks about the endogenous DMT, like this substance that brings prophecy, and he also speaks about the opening the Hebrew words in the Bible. Like it is interesting because what I feel is that he is feeling this power to open some words, like the meaning of kavod. I got in his book, like um, just like what you teach us, it like to make the permutation and to be open in the Torah. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read about the subject, or what do you think about this, because it is a rabbit hole. I would say it has a lot of material and things, but I don't know, what do you think about this.
thank you for the question. The question is about psychedelic psychology or psychedelic as a theory. What would you like to open to explain those who are attending now? What is psychedelic? No, maybe those who are listening on
Well,
YouTube.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Like this author, the name of the book is DMT and the Soul of Prophecy. You know,
Mhm.
he is arguing that the human body has the ability to, let's say, to assess this DMT, this psychedelic substance,
What is
and
DMT?
from this
Yeah, sorry, Fernando. What is DMT to those who are not in the field? DMT? What is DMT?
DMT is a substance, that is found in the psychedelics, like in the psilocybin and mescaline, LSD, and all these. But it is also an endogenous substance.
Hmm.
Like you can make it from your own body. You do not need like a substance, external substance to take it. But of course, you can access it through mushrooms or through LSD or through many other DMT and others. So this author speaks that sometimes opening the Torah, maybe, and opening these words, it can produce this altered state of consciousness, you know, that psychedelics usually do, you know, in us. And like I said, it is a rabbit hole because when you start to read it, and this research is quite interesting, I would say, and also about the Christianism. It has a book from the 70s that connects the early practice with mushrooms. And I was remembering, I know that I am opening a lot of windows here, but I was remembering it, what you said once about the mushrooms, because we watched that movie about magic fungi, something like this.
Yes.
And mushrooms in Hebrew is pitria.
Yes.
You know, it's the root name of Peter, that is
Yes.
the founder of the church. So
Yes.
this was not written, but it came to my mind. I was thinking, wow. So like it is a rabbit hole, and we have a lot of conspiracy theories. But since I entered in it somehow, I would like to listen from you if you had the opportunity to read, or what do you think about this? I don't know.
It is interesting that you ask this question. Just, how do you say, let's try different directions of answering this question, just from two poets that I recently read. And each one just speaks freely about, people are asking, how does it come that, they ask Levi, how does it come that you just coming with all kinds of poems, that Levi that we mentioned on Saturday, that in 24/7 it's just writing poems and plays and riddles and draws and paints and creates like all kinds of toys and games for children and for how do you say, children and elementary school kids. So people ask him, even his family members, how can it be? So he used to give this like light answer that when he was a kid, he received a pen from Elijah, and since then the pen is writing. Of course, it's just a joke, but he says, I'm being. He says he's just being in the room. Somebody says a word, or he sees something, a bird or something, or a movement in the air or a sound, and then it comes and he writes. Something happens, or he walks in nature or in class, or he used to work as a pioneer. Something happened, and then it is that there's a flow coming. So this is from Levi, and then there's also a testimony from that I read shortly before class from Leanna O, also a poet, and she said she was invited to give lectures in front of children because she's a children's poet for quite a long time, and she was invited to speak in front of children about the writing, and the children keep asking her a question all the time. And she was giving a lecture in a school which is next to an Israeli air base, and they were speaking, and suddenly there was a sound of airplanes. How do you say? Coming in the air. Just I have the word in German in my head. I don't have the English. Flying from the airport and take off. The English is take off. And there was a sound of, and she stopped talking, and the children asked her, why suddenly you have stopped talking? And she said, the sound of the airplane interferes with the thinking, with the thread of thinking. And they told her that since they're children of these teams who works in the airport, they don't understand the sound of silence. This is the only thing that they are accustomed to hear since they're children, and this is the only sounds that they operate with. And if they don't hear the sounds of airplane taking off or landing, they feel something is wrong. This is in a way, the orchestra or the philharmonic music that it sounds through the ear. And then she noticed that what she is accustomed, or her lifestyle is very different from this children lifestyle, and they notice immediately the frequency in the air, and they told her something is happening today. And she said after she returned home, it was a special day because day after the Gulf War happened. It was 1991. So this in a way it is like testimonials from people who are writing all the time. So the writing or the creativity in general, and also Nurit Hirsch testified upon it. She is a great composer. She said there is a silent inside, very, very deep silent, and in the silent comes music, comes song, comes poem, and she just sit next to the piano and just she plays, her fingers plays what she already hears inside. But she said every music, and she composed more than 1,000 songs or so. Every song came to there just sitting in a deep silence inside of her, and then it comes. And Leah testified the same, and Levi testified the same. So it's it has to do with emptiness. Three people, in a way, share their own experience of what is happening to them in the moment of creativity. It is just emptiness. Of what is emptiness? There is no thought. There is no sentiment. There is no narration happening inside. And there, it means there's emptiness. It's like hotel, which is waiting for its guest. This is the emptiness. And then through the emptiness, everything can come. So what is it? And Fernando was mentioning open the Hebrew words or reading the Torah. And reading the Torah, and also all three of them testify that they read the text, the Hebrew text. Levi used to read before he used to go to sleep every night, a chapter from the Bible or from Psalms. Also, Nurit Hirsch just opened the book and compose like verses of the Bible as they come. Also Leah, and it is just emptiness. So what happens is when people take all kinds of, let's say, pills, I don't know how to call those things, mushrooms, pills, all kinds of, let's say, outside of the natural flow of life to get something from it. Basically, they want to get relief from the selfing which is happening. Why people take drugs or all kinds of parties, pills. In Israel, they have all kinds of names. I guess it has to do with the time. I mean, which time of which years people are taking, because those pills and drugs, they get their name updated all the time. But why people going to this, how do you say, forest parties? This is what happens also on 7th of October. It's supposed to be Simchat Torah. It's supposed to be the holidays that's supposed to close or to seal the Rosh Hashanah, because it's like a long train of many, many holidays. It's basically moving from the summer to the autumn, from the fruit season to another season. This is just a passage, and those holidays, 4 holidays from Rosh Hashanah to Simchat Torah, are just stations. So those people, they plan a party. They call it usually forest party, but now they made the party in the desert. They had a space there. And people are usually going to those parties, forest parties, or they go to Goa, they go to Asia, they land on islands and they take all kinds of pills or all kinds of materials. Why do they do that? They take all of those things to have a relief from selfing, from this story, this narration that runs inside of us 24/7. So maybe it's a broad perspective for what you are asking, Fernando. So it is very common that Israeli soldiers, after they're serving in the army, or sometimes it's war because it's constant war here, so they relieve from the army and they take an airplane in a rucksack and they go to Thailand or they go to India, and there are many islands there, and they have access to things, and they listen to all kinds of music, and they take and dancing parties, like many hours of dancing until they collapse, and they take all kinds of pills and mushrooms, let's say stimulating drugs, just to stop this narration that tries to define for them who they are. So people taking those pills and mushrooms and leaves, some chewing some certain leaves. Here in Israel they're chewing leaves, yes, it just stops this mechanical veil, and they have relief from this selfing which is sitting in the center, and then they experience something which is bigger than the selfing. So some people call it ecstatic experience. There are many names for it, and they always they keep returning to those parties, forest parties, or those engagement when people supply to them all kinds of pills and leaves and drugs, because they wish for a salvation, meaning they want to escape this selfing. What defines them as people in this age, living in this area, being children to those parents, to the square life, and what we are taught to be, that this is our life, this is what life is about. So they're looking for a way out. So those things, somehow they have their own way. Let's say let's call it a technical or just chemical way to shut down the activity. And whilst it's like you turn off the volume in the radio, you turn it off suddenly, and then you hear what there is, and they call it ecstatic experience. So while loosening or turning off the volume of the selfing, and those what the pills and the leaves and the mushroom do, and suddenly there's a different symphony happening, and people are so stunned from this experience, because and they have addiction because they want to repeat this experience again and again and again. And once they take a leaf or they take a pill and it's working, because you manage to shut down the brain once, but the brain is like a very trained machine, and the next time you take the pill or the leaf or the drug, it's not enough because it's trained. So you need to take double dose just to shut it down, to have this experience. And then the third time, it's not enough. So you have to increase the dosage. And sometimes they're taking pills and leaves and drugs and alcohol, and sometimes they're using syringes. Yes. So, and all of this, this is interesting. The question is quite interesting. because it doesn't matter what people do. They're shooting cocaine, heroin, they take leaves, they take mushrooms, they take all kinds of pills which you can melt or you can burn and you can add to them and other liquids. Whatever people do in the first time, in the second time, it's not the same. And they need to increase the dosage to get the same high, the same peace that they had. And each time they want to go for another round to get away from themselves or the self-story, they need more dosage. And here we have addiction. And this is what happens in 7th of October in the Negev. It's next to Gaza. Gaza sits there. People were just taking having the time of their life. What did they want to do? To go for a party. Novia. This is the name of the party was Novia, or at Novia Space. And they were just want to do. They just wanted to have a party, to drink something, to take pills, few pills with drinking, few pills with drinking under the sun, few pills with drinking under the sun next to psychotic center of planet Earth, and so on. They want to have a relief from selfing. And they were so high on pills and drugs and God knows what, that when the attack or the invasion came, they could not act and defend themselves because the sense of reality was distorted. Yes. So it's interesting question, Fernando, and I thank you. I thank you for coming and asking this question.
I thank you, Eti. I thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts about it.
It's basically emptiness. It's just emptiness, pure emptiness, nothing else. And when it doesn't happen naturally, if people, let's say, if people don't have this, how can I say, relief from this constant storytelling, they try to find, let's say, active ways through chemistry or through all kinds of nature, mushrooms and all kinds of things. They try to find a way to find peace. This is what it is, and all of this just come to shut up the selfing. This is, you call it's amazing topic, because people use it a lot while making music in the late 60s and in the 70s. This is also what the lectures are about, Fernando?
In fact, it is a kind, I would say, that's slightly different. Mm-hmm. It has a movie on Netflix that I think that can resume it beautifully. That is How to Change Your Mind, the name of documentary. Because what we are, you watched it, Eti. I don't know, but what we can see here, Eti, also, of course, people go stream, like this kind of celebration that you said. But what we can see also nowadays, it is an abuse, not from this psychedelic substance, let's say, but from what the drugstore sells, all kinds of drugs to feel happy, to sleep, to wake up, to work hard, or to overcome anxiety, to overcome everything, We have like an abuse of this kind of legal drugs, And so people are looking as well to these alternative ways, in a therapeutic way. This is what people are researching, not of course these parties and the drug abuse, and this is a side effect, let's say. But I think that what you said is beautiful. That uh, is a way um, to reveal the unity. Let's say
Yes.
to feel this unity in a more explicit way. You know, like children feel it naturally. Look the beautiful of a flower. Stop to see a worm that is on the ground. I can see
Yeah.
my child doing this. Daddy, daddy, here is a worm.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just a worm,
Mm-hmm.
but for them, it's a new world, and we lose this sense of amusement with world and amusement with unity, with nature. So some people uses uh, this experiment to, like you said, to stop the brain, to stop this spider web
Yes.
that takes us. You know. So I thank you. It is
You're most
it is
welcome.
uh, it is great to meditate on it, I think.
Yes. Yes, this is beautiful what you brought. I once read that in the late 60s there was a professor in Jerusalem University. He was the first one to find this, to isolate this material that causes CP. I'm not sure that I remember the English abbreviation of this, but it was here in the late 60s in Jerusalem. He was searching it in a laboratory, and on Friday night, he told his friends, they were already married couples with children, but two of them, the two married couples, they met in his apartment, and he brought the isolated material that causes those, let's say, hallucinations at home. Yes, it was like an experiment. How do you say, from the university? It was something which was controlled in a way. Yes, he just brought his material at home. His wife made a cake. Yes, and they put it inside, and they took 4 pieces of the cake. So some of the pieces were having this, and some of them not. And there were two couples there, and each one got his piece of cake. This is how they could make this research. And one of them, the effect was that he was very happy. He started singing. Yes. And another one was like numb. Another one got a psychotic episode. And another one was just chill on the sofa. Nothing happened to him. So already in the late 60s of the former century, they isolate this material and they research it in a lab under the, let's say, the rules or the laws of, let's say, science, and they track what it does to people. Yes, here it is. People are in Israel. There are people who were born in Yemen, and they brought with them the tradition of chewing gat leaves. This is like green leaves from a plant called gat. So they chewing it, and it gives them a lot of relief because it shuts the brain. They don't have this overthinking, so they can feel the vibe of life or the happiness. Like you say, the children, they look at the worm, and this is all their life. They're so happy to see. For us, just another thing, but for them, it's everything. And so some people here are smoking or chewing gum. Some of them are smoking weeds, all kinds of weeds. Some get license from the doctor to get this as a therapeutic because they have all kinds of situation that they need to relieve the pain. It is quite interesting. It is a beautiful question because, let's say, people started taking drugs, and I would like to speak about something that happened in the late 60s in America. And it came also with, how do you say, the revoke of students against Vietnam War. And everything was, in a way, go against the war. Yes, and it was mixed with a drug using, and all of this was in a way motivated by Soviet influence. All of those things are connected. Yeah, it is quite interesting, all of those things.
Yes, it is. It is indeed. It makes us question why this is so, how can I say, why people are looking so much at this. It is interesting to question, to understand why this movement right now.
Yes, why people would like to have relief from themselves, from the lies. In a way, people would like to have a relief from the lies and to enter, in a way, the realm of truth. Yes. This is what people seek for, truth, because truth always comes with relief. So they would like to find some relief from what people defines for them, or society defines them as life. What to watch TV, to browse infinitely in the phone, from video to video, this is life. It cannot be true. So they would like to have relief, and I understand that. But they don't know the way, so it is quite interesting. You can unmute and speak, Jill, Cindy, Jill, Abigail, Yanis. Fernando, what are you thinking when you read all of this? Did you meet people that are using mushrooms or leaves or pills? Have you met, introduced, interviewed?
Oh, yes. How can I say? I am listening to friends, but it has all different kinds of approaches, like studying this now. The approach is like when I have my seminars, the approach is like to treat like this post-traumatic stress and things like that, or to get in touch with this kind of thing, but in a regular way, let's say. But of course, around here, like I said, you can see the youth going to parties but I had an experience these days. Like I saw a lot of people drinking alcohol every day, like in the morning, and this time of holidays. People are drinking alcohol in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, and taking drugs to sleep and drugs to wake up. So for me, I do not see so much as something bad if people try to stop this costume, let's say, or this addiction, trying an alternative way, So I'm just listening right now, but when I start reading this book about the Hebrew Bible, I found it quite beautiful because the author is speaking about this endogenous way to stop the brain, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
This endogenous way is to be present, to access the numinous, to access the sacred. Uh, so, like I said, I do not have an opinion. I'm collecting data, let's say, and looking at the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is interesting that you said it for those people they're looking for relief for this lifestyle, and I understand it. Once when I visited in Germany, they have beer garden there in Bavaria, beer garden, and as you hear it is the garden of beer, like great gardens, and there's like tables and tables and tables there, and people are assembling their own table, and they drink beer in a portion of half a liter or liter. There is a cup of 1 liter beer, yeah. And people drinking, one person, one human drinking one cup of a glass of beer, which is 1 liter size, and they drink more and more, and just I was so shocked to see that, how people numb, like they putting themselves to sleep, they numb themselves by drinking beers, by overeating like amounts of unbelievable meat and potatoes, meat, potatoes, and beer. It just killing, like it's like you drinking and eating is a drug for itself. I was so shocked from this. It is, and like you say, people start the morning with drinking, at noon drinking, and yes, there's a need to shut down this selfing. What is happening? I understand. That the way, in a way, they want to way out from this. Yes. It is interesting what you're saying, because the current situation here in the country is that everything can happen every moment. So there's not much. I see. People drinking Fernando in the morning, at noon, and in the evening. This is how they do. 3 times per day drinking. 3. Wow. It numbs everything. It just, well, it closes the system. It shut down all the windows and doors for the soul. The drinking, it's just in a way, the drinking, how do you say, fortifies the selfing. The more people drink, the more sense they have that they control of life or in life. So the more they drink, the more they're shutting themselves from the world. The more the selfing, the levels of selfing are rising, and they will probably have more kind of tantrum. It's problematic, all of this. Yes, eventually. Yes, yes, yes. This is so, because it's not a way. Eventually, they will look for a way, an alternative way of living, because in a way, those people who are drinking, as you described, 3 times per day, this is the lifestyle that they have, or the habit that they have. But eventually they will look for an alternative way of living, which is drugless and without drinking. Because life is so beautiful. Why to shut everything down? Why to shut everything?
Iti,
Yes.
just to, I totally agree with you. Totally, the life is too precious to throw it away, you know.
Yes.
But one interesting about the difference, I know, you know, here in Brazil is too common the ayahuasca. I don't know if you,
Yes. I heard it.
I okay, and we have also religions that use it. You know, it is not a way to. It's not a way to, let's say, to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, Fernando. Do you hear Fernando? Can somebody hear?
Iti,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, now
It is
yes.
not a way. It is not a way to party. Let's say it's a religious. It is a religious movement. I never went, but it is a religious movement. You know,
Oh.
and many people that goes on this stop to drink, stop to take alcohol. You know, because it also happens with mushrooms, as I heard and listened to these lectures that I had to present. It also happens because this kind of material makes you more empathic, makes you more connected with the other, let's say.
Mm.
So you stop the selfie, like you said. So I was just connecting these points as you said about the alcohol because I don't know what happens, but I'm just putting this as well because some while you start to be more present and to relate with other, you do not need a substance for this.
Yes.
I think then naturally you stop to consuming what makes you selfie, say,
Yes.
as
Yes.
the alcohol.
It is beautiful what you say because once you turn to the other, and this is what they offer also in Alcohol Anonymous and all those rehab organizations or cycles, is to serve, public service. So when we serve, something happens because there is this meeting in the open space between two, in a way, let something higher than both of those present really takes the lead because it's none of this body. Let's say there's one person serving water to another one in hospital. So something is happening in this interaction between the one who gives the water and the one who receives the water, which is higher. And this is why people are finding happiness in service, because there is no selfing in service, because we just hand something, a sandwich or a glass of water, or we open the door to a person with a wheelchair, or we push the wheelchair for him. So there is no selfing. There is like helping the wagon to move where he needs to arrive, or to help him rise to the car from his wheelchair or so. So there is no me in this moment. This is why serving is so important, because there is no narration which is needed in helping or serving others. There is no me. There's just the verbing that crosses us. The hand is giving another patient in a hospital a glass of water. Like few people are playing music for patients in hospital. So just they sing. Singing comes. It doesn't matter who sings and who plays the organ. Just singing comes. Yes, singing happens. There is no star like Ringo Starr that sings. It's just singing. This is service. So the more we do, the more service happens through us, the less selfing is happening, and less selfing is less sorrow and less suffering. And it's beautiful to meet or to acknowledge or to send something which is higher than all of us together. Because the selfing, the self-narrated story, always defines us between four walls, address, like few details, and this is how do you say, chateau in French, you say in English, fortress of selfing. And this fortress of selfing is just shutting us down from the world, and the world is in a way absent because there's a sense of self-control. But the more we turn to service, we notice that something like that does not exist at all. This is just an invented story. And the more life progresses and we see this from day to day, this is more true happening. And we ask ourselves what was happening before. We don't know, but we are happy to experience this non-selfing life. And it's beautiful because life is not that long. The life of a human is not that long. It's not 1,000 years. If people are lucky, they cross the 100 in good mood and good health. But it's not. I was reading about Levi. Yes, he lived, according to what they say, 96 years old. And after he perished or he passed away, a relative found a picture that he sent in the beginning of the 20th century, and he came with a documentation that Levi lived 100 years, not 96 as it was registered in the papers, because he came from Ukraine and nobody really registered the right, birth date. So according to what he wrote to a family member about his age and when he received this painting or picture, Levi lived 100 years. But I would like to, even if one human lived beautiful 100 years, it comes to an end. Beautiful, creative, influencing people, writing, it comes to an end. And at the moment of end, of course there is no control. Maybe there is a realization at the end that there is no control, but it's better if we realize this before, because we can enjoy the notion that we are not in control, and we can be happier, we can live happier, lighter, yes, and not take ourselves so seriously, because we are not the playwriters, we are not the authors of our lives, we are not. And this is the good news. Whatever happens, sometimes people go through wars, through car accidents, all kinds of scenarios through life, and they always look for someone to blame, or they blame themselves or the others, accusing. There is no need to do this, because none of these we are making. None of us, 8 billion people, is capable of doing anything by his or her own decision or making. It's just life that moves through us. And actions are happening. Yes, life is happening through us. This is it. And this is a great relief. So this journey of consciousness here is not that long, even if it's for a few decades, or 100, or 120, even 200. It will come to a moment of leaving. Consciousness will leave the body because it needs a new dressing. So the last moment, all of this delusion worth it? We could live such a better life without telling ourselves stories, without shutting ourselves from life. Because anyways, it's short. It is very, very short. Even if it's few decades, it's very short. So why to make so much fuss about it? A fuss about something we have no control, we have no clue, nor judgment, nothing. We are just nothing. And this is a great relief. So why to worry about anything? Why? Of course, the brain, moach. And this is the interesting thing in Hebrew, moach. This is the brain. This machine that thoughts are going through it, machashava, thought, goes through the brain. So the thought, which is coming through the brain, will always offer us that I am the thinker. I am the doer. I am the programmer. And it's not. Because we don't have ownership on the actions. Actions or deeds are being or happening through us, but we don't own the actions. We are not the masters of the actions. There is programming which is happening, but there is no programmer. There is hearing, but there is no hearer. So we are not the owners as we think, and this is the greatest lies of all. Once we understand it, even for a slight moment, we have relief. Because it's not in our hands. Because once we think this is in our hands, comes immediately debate inside. I could do this, I could do that. I could turn left, I could turn right. No, it's not in our hands. And this is such a beauty. And what do we know? Nothing. And this is emptiness. And this is life. Yes, Cindy? Yes. Yes. It is interesting that people looking for solution. Why people are looking for solution? Why? Because first there is a presuming of what? Of a problem. But if there isn't any problem with life, we don't need also a solution. There is no problem with life. The system of life, and this is what David says, Ma'arachot Elohim Chaim. This is systems of living God. It does not need us. Life is happening through us. Do you think that the sun needs any human being? The sun needs a tree? The galaxies? But we think that we are the center of the world. We do. And we do, and the way someone perceives the world, this is the only truth. There are 8 billion people on this planet now. Ask anyone, everybody will give you his or her story about life. And they are convinced that this is the only story, the absolute story. And it's not so. Of course it's not so. So there is a great relief in this message. We are not in charge. And the more we go and turn for public service or service, any kind of community, the better and fast relief that we have from selfing. And with this beautiful message, I would like to thank you for participating in this beautiful conversation. Thank you, Fernando, for opening this deep topic. You're very courage to open this topic.
I thank you, Eti. I thank you so much for opening a conversation, a true and a free conversation where we can meditate in this subject. So I thank you so much, Eti.
Thank you so much, and hope
thank you, friend.
Thank you. Have a beautiful week, beautiful season, and see you soon. Thank you so much. And shalom, shalom. Thank you, Felipe, Yanis, Abigail, Jill, Fernando, Cindy, friends on YouTube. We have a new friend. Shalom, shalom.